Today I would like to discuss and expose about the literary works, history of English literature in the 17th and 18th century. With me, Maria Zakia Alfisuma. First of all, this is the timeline of history of English literature in England. In the first, we have discussed it. Old English literature, Middle English literature, Elizabethan literature, and then now we are here in the 17th and 18th century literature. What we are going to study, we are going to study about historical background and also literary development in this period. Okay, first of all, I would like to expose the reign of from the Queen Elizabeth up to the Queen Mary here. First of all, in the last, we have already discussed about Queen Elizabeth period, Elizabeth I. After the death of Queen Elizabeth, it means that this is the end of Tudor line, yeah. And then the next, the reign of Queen Elizabeth will be replaced by James of Scotland, yeah, James I. And then after that, after the death of the James of Scotland, it's replaced by Charles I. In this reign of Charles I, there is oppositions between a Parliament and Charles here. Parliament here, mostly the one who is in the Parliament is the Puritan, and then Charles here has the oppositions with the Puritans. It means that from several years of his reign, Charles reigned without Parliament, and from this case, there is a civil war, an oppositions between Charles and the Parliament, and it resulted on the civil war. Why the civil war has happened is because of the religious dispute between Puritan and monarch. What is the result of the civil war? The result of the civil war is that the win of the Parliament and then the fall of the monarch. It means that the result, Charles I was executed because of the fall of the monarch. So after the end of the monarch here, the positions of the government of England taken by Oliver Cromwell as the leader of the Puritan here, and then the Oliver Cromwell, this one is Oliver Cromwell. Oliver Cromwell made England as a republic. It means that England under the reign of the Oliver Cromwell becoming a republic. He reigned for about 11 years. Yeah. It means that England is not a kingdom anymore. Yeah. Here, after that, after 11 years of being the leader of England, Oliver Cromwell passed away, and actually, the son of Oliver Cromwell would like to replace his positions. However, most of the parliament disagree with these decisions and would like to restore the monarch to England. Yeah? Therefore, here, the parliament asks the son of the Charles I, the Charles II here, to replace the positions of the son of Oliver Cromwell. And from this case, England becoming a kingdom again, becoming a monarch. Here, so some of the Puritans, so what is it? Disagree with these occasions. However, monarch again come to England, and it's called as the Restoration. The Restoration is the coming back of the monarch to England. Okay, then after the Charles II, James II, and William, King William and Queen Mary. This one. Okay, regarding on the historical background of the Puritan, here we go to the literary development. What happened in the era of the Puritan here? Here, the literary works, especially poem, is developed, and the poem itself is divided into three. The first is the metaphysical poem, and then the second is the Puritan poem, and then the third is the Cavalier poem. What is that poems? The metaphysical poems is the poem. It's a religious poetry that use many uncommon metaphor related to intellectual or science, and mostly the writer of the metaphysical poem is Puritan. For example, like George Herbert, John Donne. John Donne has the famous poem "Valedictions Forbidden Morning." Yeah. And the second one, the Puritan poems. What is Puritan poems? The Puritan poems is that the Puritans, yeah, the poet is the Puritans who write poems about religion. So the main theme here is religion. Examples of the poem of the Puritan is the John Milton Paradise Lost. This is the epic, is the famous one of the poem in the Puritan time. What does it talk about? This is talk about an epic based on the story of Adam and Eve in paradise. And then the third one is the Cavalier poem. The Cavalier poem is the poem written by royalists. It's about pleasure. For example, like Robert Herrick, To Enjoy the Time and To the Virgin, is then written by Thomas Carroll. So these three poems is the three kinds of poem written in the Puritan era. And then what about the drama? Uh, uh, While the poems flourished or developed, but the drama here is stuck, it means that the drama is not developed. Why? Because the Puritan government considered that the play is forbidden. So that theaters closed and drama was not developed. It means that there is no drama in this reign. Then for the prose is written by John Bunyan, Pilgrim Progress. This is the prose. Okay. Here I'll give an example of the poem written by John Milton, Paradise Lost. We are going to take a look the form of the prose written in the Puritan era here. Okay, look at the rhyme here. A, B, A. Okay, so this is unrhymed. This is unrhymed. Uh, it doesn't seems like the poem written by John Donne. This is the metaphysical poem. Yeah, the metaphysical poem. Look at the rhyme. The rhyme here is this is rhyming. A, A. Yeah. Also, this is rhyming. Yeah. And then before I have already stated that the metaphysical poem is that the poem that has a specific metaphor related on science. Here in the valedictions Forbidden Morning, the metaphor used by the poet here is uh, here. This is a compass here. Yeah. compass here is used as a metaphor. So compass has a correlations with the science. If we are going to read the poem, if they be two, they are two, so as if twin compasses are two. They show the fixed foot makes no show to move, but doth if the other do. So that the metaphor of the compass here show that this is one of the metaphysical poem. Okay, and then the last year, this is the poem by the Cavalier. We are going to take a look also the rhyme here. This is also rhyming, and this Cavalier poem um, has not correlated with the religions like the previous poem. Yeah, it's about something that does not have any correlations with the religion. The Cavalier poem is the poem written by the royalists loyal to the Charles I. Okay, that's all about the 17th century literature. Uh, while the 17th century literature poem becoming the famous literary works, now we are going to the 18th century literature. Here, novel becoming the most popular literary works. Yeah, for example, like this is the example of the novels. This is Gulliver Travel and a Modest Proposal. Yeah, I think that you are familiar with this novel because this has already adapted into movie. Yeah, this is the Giant Gulliver. Yeah, the Giant Gulliver. This era is also called as the Enlightenment era. Okay, look at the historical background of the 18th century literature. Queen Anne and the King William. Here, in this era, there are many coffee houses. Yeah, what is the functions of the coffee houses here? The functions is that most of the people, usually the middle age, the middle and upper classes, they are spending time discussing about political issues, news, and entertainment here. Yeah, most of the period, people like to discuss about political issues and also discuss about and updating issues, yeah, updating news. Because of what? Because in this time there is a mass media, for example, like newspaper and magazines, yeah. And then this is as I stated before, that this period is called as the Enlightenment. Why? Because in this time, literature explored themes of social upheaval, political satire, and geographical explorations. Besides that, the mass media like newspaper and magazines also coloring uh, the world of the literature. And then this time is also called as the age of reasons. Yeah, faith in reasons, logic or reasons becoming dominant. Yeah, instead of emotions. There are many discoveries on technology. Yeah? Science here beginning to rise. And in this period is the is the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Okay, what about the literary development? The literature here, uh, the literature that developed, the genre of the literature that developed in this time is satire. Yeah? For example, like the novels. Uh, One of the example of the satirical prose is that here Jonathan Swift, Gulliver's Travel. And then what about the poem? The poem here, mimesis, yeah, it is imitations of nature rather than autonomous. And then the poetic form, yeah, the poetic form is used. There's a Herway couplet, A A B B C C D D, and iambic pentameter. It means that um, the certain rules is still used in the poem. A mass media, yeah? The first time publications of mass media, for example, like newspaper and magazine. Okay, this is the example of the in this era. Yeah, Jonathan Swift are descriptions of the morning. Yeah, and then an essay on criticism by Alexander Pope. Yeah, we are looking at the rhyme here. Here, this poem is written under certain rules here, like have been exposed before, that it is rhyming and it's used an iambic pentameter.